Hi there and welcome to WCMU's Quiz Central. Our teams tonight are Midland, Calvary Baptist, and Atlanta, so stay with us.
Support for Quiz Central is provided by the CMU Bookstore. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, maroon and gold memories, and an official outfitter of Adidas apparel at the Central Michigan University owned and operated CMU Bookstore. Online shopping 7 days a week at cmubookstore.com, on campus at the University Center, and game day locations at Kelly Short Stadium and the John G. Kulhalvi Event Center.
Good luck to both of our teams. Let's play Quiz Central.
Chopin.
Correct. All right, your next toss-up.
The lottery.
Right.
The Stranger.
You are correct. Traverse City Central hangs on. They are our season champions. Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to Quiz Central. I'm your host, Steve Smith. And our teams that are battling it out tonight come from Midland, Calvary Baptist, and Atlanta. We have 48 teams competing in total this season. The quiz teams are divided into 4 divisions based on school size. Each division will have a champion, and one of those teams will be our overall season champ. We will have a chance to get to meet our teammates very, very shortly, but what they're vying for are scholarships from Central Michigan University, and Rick Westover has more on that.
The 4 starters and 3 alternates of the division championship teams will each receive a 2-year, $4,000 room and board scholarship from Central Michigan University Residence Life. In addition, 4 lucky Quiz Central seniors will receive textbook scholarships from the CMU Bookstore. And a special thanks to CMU Enrollment and Student Services, which provides lunch for our contestants and their traveling party.
Both teams are warmed up and ready to go, so let's jump right into the maroon and gold round. Teams, you have 2 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. If the team ringing in misses the question, the opposing team will have a chance to respond. There's no talking among team members, and correct answers are worth 10 points. Good luck to both of our teams. Let's play Quiz Central. What character who worshipped a god named Benamucki stopped being a cannibal after meeting Robinson Crusoe, who named him after a weekday? Next question. What Indian American actor who played Tom Haverford on Parks and Recreation stars as Dev Shaw? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Aziz Ansari?
Yes, you are right. The EPA was established under what president whose advisor Henry Kissinger negotiated the Paris Peace Accords that ended the Vietnam War? Next question. What American author wrote about a deaf-mute character named John Singer in her novel, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter? Next question. Sorry, Faith, just a little late. What term, which in the plural titles an unfinished epic by Ezra Pound, refers to a section of a long poem and comes from the Italian for song? Olivia, Atlanta.
Stanza.
Nope, sorry, incorrect. Midland Calvary Baptist. We'll find out in a minute. Joan of Arc is often called the Maid of what French city, where in 1429 she broke an English siege? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Orleans?
That's correct. What 5-letter word, which John Gay wrote a beggar's type of, denotes a genre of classical music that includes Aida by Giuseppe Verdi? Next question. Initiation, propagation, and termination are the steps in chain reactions involving what reactive species that have unpaired electrons? Moving on. What ancient Greek scientist supposedly made a heat ray and ran out of a bath shouting Eureka upon discovering his namesake principle of buoyancy? Next question. The Lehigh River has its source in what U.S. state's Pocono Mountains, a popular natural resort area in the Northeast? We're out of time. Pennsylvania was the correct answer there. Okay, some of the other questions that we missed in that round. The ancient Greek scientist was Archimedes. Initiation, propagation, and termination are the steps in chain reactions involving free radicals. The genre of classical music was opera. The character who worshipped a god named Benamucky was Friday. The EPA was established under President Richard Nixon. The American author was Carson McCullers, and the term that comes from the Italian for song is canto. That takes us through our round there. Midland Calvary Baptist holds a 20-0 lead at this point in time, and we're going to get a chance to meet our teams now, and we'll turn to Atlanta first, and Natalie.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm a senior at Atlanta Schools, and I'm in NHS and Robotics.
Hi, my name is Haley Brown. I'm a senior at Atlanta Schools, and I'm in NHS and Robotics.
Hi, my name is Jordan Kobelius. I'm a senior at Atlanta Schools, and I play volleyball, basketball, and softball.
Hi, my name is Olivia Arnold. I'm a sophomore at Atlanta Community Schools, and I'm class president and play volleyball and softball.
All right, nice to have you with us. Atlanta's alternates are Katrina Wilson, Maddie Ferris, and Travis Laporte. They're coached by Jennifer Colbert. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And now to the team from Midland Calvary Baptist. I can't resist, but hey, Jude.
My name is Jude. I'm a senior at Calvary Baptist Academy, and I'm the goalie on the soccer team.
Hi, my name's Nathan Bright. I play soccer at Calvary Baptist Academy. I'm a senior, and I also compose music.
My name is Faith Howell. I'm a senior at Calvary Baptist Academy. I play volleyball, and I plan to study professional writing in college.
Hi, my name is Evan. I'm a junior at Calvary Baptist Academy. I like to sing, act, I'm bilingual, and I like to have a good time.
All right, well, hopefully you'll have a good time here tonight. The alternates for Midland Calvary Baptist are Noah Haynes, Caitlin Schmidt, Corbin Walton, and Macy Stringer. They are coached by Mary Hillebrand. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And with that, the game continues with the kickoff round. The kickoff round is a combination of toss-up and bonus questions. The team that correctly answers the toss-up question will be asked a bonus. Then we go back to a toss-up question for both teams. Toss-up questions need an individual response, but team members can consult on the bonus questions. Captains, remember that the answers must come from you on the bonuses unless you defer to a colleague. Here's your first toss-up question. What company, which co-founder Chris Hughes thinks should be broken up, plans to launch a cryptocurrency called Libra and has over 2 billion users? Olivia, Atlanta.
Facebook?
That's right. Here's your bonus. What Rudyard Kipling poem is named after a much abused Indian water carrier who is said to be a better man than the British narrator? No answer?
No.
Gunga Din. All right, both teams play. What country, which was called a dominion in reference to Psalm 72, was founded after the Charlottetown Conference by the British North America Act? Nathan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Israel.
Nope, sorry. How about Atlanta? Oh, sorry. Okay, no answer from Atlanta. The actual country is Canada. All right, Newton's first law describes what property of matter which... Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Inertia?
That's right. Here's your bonus. MRI machines have been impacted by a shortage of what element whose primary source on Earth is alpha decay that has an atomic number of 2?
Oh, but I said helium.
Helium.
That's correct. All right. Thomas Cole, who painted the series The Course of Empire, belonged to what school of American painters named for a body of water? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Hudson River Valley?
That's correct. Here is your bonus question. What goddess who quarreled with Aphrodite over the love of the beautiful youth Adonis was a daughter of Demeter who was abducted by Hades?
Persephone.
That's right. All right, back to both teams. From 1782 to 1872, what kingdom was led by 5 consecutive rulers named Kamehameha? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Hawaii?
That's right. Here is another bonus. What U.S. city is home to the Fells Point neighborhood, Fort McHenry, and Johns Hopkins University, and is the most populous in Maryland?
Baltimore?
That's right. Back to both teams. What author wrote about Jean-Marie Latour, who becomes the head of the Diocese of New Mexico in her novel Death Comes for the Archbishop? Faith, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Agatha Christie?
Nope, sorry, incorrect. Atlanta. Answer, Willa Cather. All right, what rapper who collaborated with J Balvin and Bad Bunny on a song from her album Invasion of Privacy Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Cardi B.
That's right, another bonus. What term describes anaerobes that require anaerobic conditions, unlike facultative anaerobes that can survive in the presence of oxygen?
I have no idea.
Need an answer?
Fermentation.
Fermentation?
Obligate. All right, here we go, both teams. That brings us to the end of the round there. All right, Midland Calvary Baptist holds on to a 90-10 lead. We're going to give both teams a little bit of a break here, and when we come back, we'll play the perfect 10, so don't go away.
Preschool gives children the foundation they need to be successful in school and in life. But more than half of kids in the U.S. do not have the opportunity to attend a pre-K program, making them 25% more likely to drop out of school before graduation. The PBS Kids 24/7 channel provides quality programming, games, and hands-on activities that are proven to develop early learning skills.
When you say the word PBS, immediately quality comes to mind. And not just quality, but a massive cultural diversity. Everybody here in the United States gets a look at a global culture, which is phenomenally presented. What makes PBS so strong is that it is a product of the support of the public. It stands out as a public service. It reaches out and grabs a nation and it grabs a world, and I think that's wonderful.
Welcome back to Quiz Central and the Perfect 10. The Perfect 10 gives you 60 seconds to answer 10 questions from your choice of clues to 3 categories. The opposing team gets 30 seconds to tackle all unasked, missed, or passed questions. Midland Calvary Baptist has the lead, so Atlanta, your choice is the first one. The clues to the categories today are Island Time, the Skeleton Dance, and My Kind of Town. Island Time, the Skeleton Dance, and My Kind of Town. Which one of those sounds good to you?
Do you guys think we should?
Yeah, let's do skeleton.
We'll do the skeleton one.
The Skeleton Dance, all right. And the actual category is bones.
Oh.
What is the scientific name for these bones of the human body? The upper arm bone.
Pass.
Kneecap.
Patella.
Yep. Collarbone.
Clavicle.
Yup. Shoulder blade.
Scapula.
Right. Thigh bone.
Femur.
Yup. Jawbone. 2 answers are acceptable.
Mandible.
That's right. Tailbone.
Coccyx.
Yup. Breastbone.
Sternum.
Yep. Finger and toe bones collectively.
Phalanges.
Right. And wrist bones collectively.
Carpals.
That's correct. Oh, almost a perfect 10 there. One question that you missed, and we will turn to Midland Calvary Baptist. You have 30 seconds on the clock. What is the scientific name for the upper arm bone?
Hey, isn't it upper arm? Oh, so it's your humerus.
Humerus.
You are correct. All right, 10 more points for you. And it is your turn now. We have 2 remaining categories. Island Time and My Kind of Town are the categories remaining. Which one of those 2 do you want?
The My Kind of Town.
My Kind of Town. Okay, the actual category is Chicago. Answer the following about the city of Chicago. It's on this Great Lake.
Lake Michigan?
That's
we
correct.
don't have to bug.
Chief of Staff to Barack Obama, who was its mayor from 2011 to 2019.
Pass.
All right. Former name of its Willis Tower.
Sears Tower.
Sears Tower.
Right. Holiday on which members of a North Side gang were massacred in 1929.
Pass.
Large park home to the Art Institute of Chicago and Buckingham Fountain.
Central Park?
No.
That's New York.
3,300 foot long pier that's the longest in the U.S.
Oh, Navy Pier.
Navy Pier?
Right. Single letter nickname of its elevated rail system.
The H?
Monroe.
Nope. Public square where a labor demonstration led to riots in 1886.
Pass.
Architect who designed its Pritzker Pavilion.
Pass.
And year in which it's World Columbian. Okay, we won't get to that one. All right, Atlanta, 30 seconds back to you. Answer the following about Chicago. Chief of Staff to Barack Obama, who was its mayor from 2011 to 2019.
Pass.
Pass.
Holiday on which members of a North Side gang were massacred in 1929.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Right. Large park home to the Art Institute of Chicago and Buckingham Fountain.
Pass.
Single letter nickname of its elevated rail system.
Peak.
No. Public Square, where a labor demonstration led to riots in 1886. And we're out of time. Haymarket Square was the answer. The architect who designed its Pritzker Pavilion was Frank Gehry. The year in which its World Columbian Exposition was held was 1893. Its elevated rail system is known as the L. The large park home to the Art Institute of Chicago was Grant Park, and the Chief of Staff to Barack Obama was Rahm Emanuel. So that brings our score to 130 to 110. It's tightened up a little bit, a 20-point game, and that takes us to the homestretch round. The homestretch round is very similar to the second round. It's a combination of toss-up and bonus questions. I'll ask a toss-up question, and the team that answers correctly will be asked a bonus. Then we go back to a toss-up for both teams. Your first toss-up question of the homestretch round is, the doctrine of Dianetics, often illustrated with a volcano, has underpinned what religion since its creation in the 1950s? That's the Church of Scientology. What short story in which Jim reveals that he sold his pocket watch to buy combs for his wife Della as a Christmas present? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
The Gift of the Magi?
That's correct. Here is your bonus. A disillusioned wife named Nora compares herself to the title toy in what play by Henrik Ibsen?
A Barbie doll?
No, I'm sorry, A Doll's House. All right, what Barbie may have lived in it. What kingdom, which from 1850 to 1860 formed a political union with the Kingdom of Naples, was based on an island just off Italy's boot? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Capri?
Nope, sorry, Atlanta. Go ahead, Olivia.
Sicily.
That's right, and here's your bonus. The song Glitter and Be Gay appears in what Leonard Bernstein operetta based on a novella by Voltaire? Nope, Candide. All right, both teams play on a toss-up. The U.S. acquired the land that is now the states of California and Nevada under what treaty that ended the Mexican-American War? That would have been the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Dogana is the most populous city of what most serene republic in the northeastern Apennine Mountains that is entirely surrounded by Italy? That's San Marino. What logician lends his name to a system in which values are always either true or false? Next, go ahead, Nathan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Syllogism?
Nope, sorry, Atlanta. George Boole was the logician. What man who was killed by police at Standing Rock in 1890 had visions that helped inspire the Lakota victory at the Battle of the Little Bighorn? Olivia, Atlanta.
George Custer.
Nope, sorry, incorrect. Midland Calvary Baptist.
Crazy Horse?
Nope, I'm sorry, it was Sitting Bull. Okay, both teams again. In 2019, what state imposed a moratorium on its use of the death penalty, even though no executions had been performed there since 2006? Olivia, Atlanta.
Arkansas.
No, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Go ahead.
No.
Texas?
You have to ring in, but yeah. Okay, that's incorrect. California is the right answer. What island's Cape Bonavista is the reported landing site of John Cabot during his 1497 exhibition to North America? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Newfoundland?
That's right, and here is a bonus. A charge of positive 2/3 is carried by what first-generation subatomic particle of which a protein has two, that is the counterpart of the down quark? Answer?
The pent quark?
Nope, the up quark. All right. An Antarctic island, sea, and ice shelf are all named after what British explorer who also discovered Mount Erebus? That person is Sir James Clark Ross. What philosophical movement emphasizing authenticity included the authors of The Rebel and Being in Nothingness, Albert Camus and Jean-Paul Sartre? Existentialism is the answer. In what novel is a young boy named Jonas tasked with becoming the new receiver of memory? Olivia, Atlanta.
The Giver.
That's right. Here's your bonus. In what year in which Supreme Court Justice Charles Evans Hughes lost the presidency was Woodrow Wilson re-elected during World War I?
1960.
Answer.
1960.
I'm sorry?
1916.
You got it right. Nice job. All right, back to both teams. No, we won't. We will take a break. So we have a 10-point game here. It's pretty exciting. Midland Calvary Baptist 150, Atlanta 140. So the final countdown round takes on that much greater importance. It's up next, and you don't want to miss it, so stay right there.
Our great state of Michigan is truly one of a kind. From the city streets to the small towns, you can see it all right here on Destination Michigan. We'll crisscross the state in search of the sights, the sounds, and of course the people that make Michigan the greatest state in the land. Take in the scenery, meet the people, and experience the wonder of the Great Lakes State. Come along with us as we share your stories on Destination Michigan.
Unlock your newest member benefit. Over 1,000 episodes of your favorite PBS shows. American Masters, Antiques Roadshow, Nature, Nova, Masterpiece. Watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere. Become a member, sign in, and start streaming today.
We have a 10-point game as we play the Quiz Central Final Countdown. The Quiz Central Final Countdown is another 2-minute rapid-fire round. The first player to ring in gets a shot at answering the question. If you get it wrong, we turn to the opposing team for a chance to answer. Your first question: what law states that the force needed to compress a spring by a distance x is proportional to x? Next question. What constructs, the most common of which are relational, can be queried using the language SQL and are used to store large amounts of information? Moving on. In August 2019, several people were killed in an explosion in what country? Possibly during a test of an experimental Skyfall nuclear missile. Nathan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Russia.
That is correct. What university was the site of a 1971 study in which a man nicknamed John Wayne served as a guard in Philip Zimbardo's prison experiment? Olivia, Atlanta?
Berkeley?
No, sorry, Midland Calvary Baptist. No answer, we'll move on. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became the first female head of state in Africa when she was elected president of what country in 2006? Next question. What language, the origin of the words dengue and jumbo, is the most widely spoken? Olivia, Atlanta?
Swahili?
That's right. What planet's moons are mostly named for characters from William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Uranus?
That's correct. What 2018 NFL Comeback Player of the Year was succeeded by Jacoby Brissett after announcing his retirement? Jude, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Andrew Luck.
That's right. Exclaiming touche to acknowledge a hit in what sword fighting sport? Evan, Midland Calvary Baptist.
Fencing?
That's right. What author who wrote that every walk is sort of a crusade in an essay on walking described his stay in a cottage in the woods in Walden? Olivia, Atlanta. And we're out of time. All right, that would have been Henry David Thoreau. Okay, but a good game. We ended up with a 190 to 150 score, and Midland Calvary Baptist, you walk away a winner today. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Good job.
Few questions to go back and get caught up on. The law that we were looking for was Hooke's Law. The constructs used to store large amounts of information is a database. The university was Stanford. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was elected president of Liberia. And that brings us to a close on this game. But it was an exciting one. Let's give both teams a nice round of applause. And that does it for another edition of Quiz Central. Until next time, like us on Facebook or watch your favorite game online as we feature the best and brightest students from around the state. Thanks for tuning in.
Support for Quiz Central is provided by the CMU Bookstore. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, maroon and gold memories, and an official outfitter of Adidas apparel at the Central Michigan University owned and operated CMU Bookstore. Online shopping 7 days a week at cmubookstore.com, on campus at the University Center, and game day locations at Kelly Short Stadium and the John G. Kulhalvi Event Center.